Hello. Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Brittany Young of South Thomaston. As a mom with 2 daughters, I'm watching what is going on in our schools. And of course, I'm talking about the inclusion of biological boys playing in girls' sports. The National Institute of Health conducted a study measuring the difference in physical strength among untrained college men and trained college women. Maine came out as more physically strong than the trained female athletes every time. Imagine going against a trained male as a female. I'm not quite sure where RSU13 staff sits with this radical idea that girls should just step to the side, allowing boys with a mental disorder to dominate, but I pray you all have common sense enough to know better. I have an idea where Maine sits with it all after these last few weeks, and it's not looking good for Maine girls. I will be devastated if this madness is still taking place when my girls are ready for school sports, because if it is, I will be forced to hold them back for their own safety. We have been told since we were young, boys don't hit girls ever. What changed? Which brings me back to my point of girls being selfishly pushed to the side to affirm a mental disorder. Gender dysphoria is a mental disorder per the Gender Dysphoria Bible on genderdysphoria.fyi. A mental disorder is characterized by a clinically significant disturbance in an individual's cognition, emotional regulation, or behavior. Whether or not these kids have gender dysphoria doesn't matter. Wanting to disrupt an entire sports bracket as a male because you feel like there's a win to be had by competing with girls is an out-of-order way of thinking. When I was in 8th grade, way back in 2007, there were girls in my class putting up a stink because they wanted to play on the boys' football team. Those girls found out real quick how much harder a boy can hit than they could. This is a great example of why girls and boys divisions were created in the first place, to create a safe and fair playing field. This is what should happen for the trans community. Those who claim they see and hear the trans youth, should be creating safe spaces for them to play sports without trampling all over the rights of girls. Anybody in this room tonight who believes it's fair for girls to compete against biological boys, I challenge the strongest female in here to wrestle against a male, for research purposes, of course. These girls shouldn't be punished for another person's mental disorder. Everyone in favor of this madness says trans rights are human rights, which I agree, but to which I also say human rights are women's rights, and we mustn't forget about our girls as we navigate this new gender-expansive world for all of our daughters' sakes. Thank you and good night.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Great. We're moving on to our consent agenda.